May 1918, English Channel. A massive passenger liner is being hunted by a German U-boat, but this ship won't run. Instead, Captain Hayes orders full speed, aimed directly at the submarine. In seconds, the Olympic, a passenger liner, will ram and sink a German U-boat, the only passenger ship in history to sink an enemy submarine during wartime. This is HMT Olympic, the ship that fought back. May 5th, 1918, New York Harbor. The ship, pulling away from Pier 59, looks nothing like her former self. Gone are the cheering crowds. Gone are the wealthy passengers waving from polished promenades. Instead, her decks are packed with thousands of American soldiers. Men from the 59th Infantry Regiment, young faces staring at the horizon, heading to the trenches of Europe. The famous White Star livery, black hull, gold stripe, buff funnels, is buried under something strange. Dazzle camouflage, bold geometric patterns in black, white, and gray, designed to confuse German submarine captains trying to get a fix on their targets. But there's been little time for maintenance. The hull is streaked with coal dust, patches of rust and grime. She looks worn, battle-hardened. She is no longer the Royal Mail ship Olympic. She is now HMT 2810, a troop transport under Royal Navy command. Her crew still calls her Olympic. This is her 22nd voyage as a troop transport, under the command of Captain Bertram Fox Hayes, a quiet, steady man who has earned the respect of every sailor who serves under him. Olympic has had quite a war. She rescued survivors from 2 shipwrecks, survived multiple U-boat attacks, set records for the largest number of troops transported by a single vessel. But she has suffered losses too. Her younger sister, the Titanic, struck a mine in the Aegean Sea in 1916. She sank in 55 minutes. Gone. The youngest of the 3 sisters, dead before her time. Olympic is now the sole survivor of her class. She is no longer the largest ship in the world. That title belongs to the Leviathan, the former German superliner seized by the United States when they entered the war. But Olympic is still one of the biggest ships in service, a giant on the North Atlantic run. And the Germans know it. Hundreds of U-boats patrol the waters of the Atlantic and the English Channel, hunting, waiting, looking for exactly the kind of prize that Olympic represents. One of them is SMU-103, built and commissioned the previous summer, commanded by Captain Klaus Rücker, one of the most experienced and successful U-boat commanders of the war. Rücker has sunk multiple Allied ships. He is aggressive, calculating, patient. Right now, he is setting course for the western entrance of the English Channel. He's looking for a big target. He has no idea what's coming his way. 2 weeks later, English Channel, May 12th, 1918. The sky is dark, but dawn is approaching. The first traces of silvery light are beginning to appear over the eastern horizon. Olympic steams through the channel at full speed, heading for Southampton, escorted by 4 American destroyers, due to be replaced by British ships at daybreak. Everything is routine, but beneath the waves, U-103 is waiting. The periscope breaks the surface. The navigating warrant officer sweeps the horizon. There, Olympic's unmistakable silhouette against the lightning sky. Enormous, unmistakable. The biggest target U-103 has ever seen. He relays the information to Captain Rücker. Ready the aft torpedo tubes, set parallel course. But there's a problem. A delay in preparing the torpedoes, a mechanical issue, precious minutes lost. Rücker makes a decision. He surfaces U-103. On the surface, the submarine is faster. He can maneuver into a better firing position. It is a dangerous gamble. On Olympic's bridge, the lookouts are scanning the horizon, waiting for the British escort. Then one of the men on the bow calls out, "Submarine, starboard bow, 2,600 feet." Captain Hayes steps to the starboard bridge wing. He sees it immediately, the dark shape of U-103 silhouetted against the morning sky. He makes his decision in seconds. He won't run. Hard to port, all ahead full. Olympic swings her massive bow toward the submarine. The gunners on the bow open fire immediately, eager, ready. But the shots fly right over the submarine. U-103 is too close. The gun barrels can't be lowered far enough to find the target. It doesn't matter. Olympic doesn't need the guns. On U-103, Captain Rucker sees it happening. The Olympic, 46,000 tons of steel, is bearing down on them at full speed. Emergency dive. Crash dive, now. The alarm sounds throughout the submarine. Crew scrambling, valves opening, water flooding ballast tanks. But it is too late. U-103 is already submerging when Olympic's bow hits. The impact is massive. At over 20 knots, Olympic's reinforced prow slams directly into U-103's pressure hull, right behind the conning tower. The collision tears open the submarine's hull like paper. On Olympic's bridge, Captain Hayes is almost knocked off his feet. He keeps the helm hard over, protecting the propellers. Below, in U-103, chaos. Water rushing in, hull breached. The submarine immediately lists to starboard, settling by the stern, dying. The wreck drifts aft alongside Olympic's hull. But Olympic's gunners aren't finished. On the poop deck, the stern gunners open fire at the stricken submarine. Several shots find their mark. Captain Rucker, stunned and panicked, orders his crew to abandon ship. One by one, the surviving crew members fight their way out through the escape hatch. All but 9 of the 36-man crew make it out. U-103 slides beneath the waves. Gone. Olympic doesn't stop. She continues toward England at full speed. She has 6,000 soldiers aboard. She cannot slow down, cannot stop. The war doesn't pause. The German survivors are later picked up by USS Davis, one of Olympic's escorts. They are handed over to the British as prisoners of war. Captain Rucker is labeled a war criminal. On Olympic's bridge, Captain Hayes surveys the damage. The bow is twisted, 8 feet to port. Hull plates badly damaged, flooding in the forward peak tank. But she is seaworthy. Olympic continues her voyage to Southampton. The investigation confirms what the divers see. Olympic rammed U-103 head-on. Her twisted bow tells the whole story. The flooding is minor, contained to the forward peak tank. Olympic is deemed seaworthy and continues her war service without interruption. But the story doesn't end there. September 4th, 1918, early morning, English Channel. Olympic is zigzagging through the channel, heading from Southampton to New York to pick up another load of troops. SMU-53 is watching. Captain Schlosser orders both forward torpedo tubes readied. 2 torpedoes fired at the massive liner. Olympic has no idea. The first torpedo misses completely. The second strikes amidships between the second and third funnels. It fails to detonate. The torpedo dents the hull, causes a minor leak in one of the internal tanks. The damage is so small it goes unnoticed until Olympic reaches dry dock at the end of the war. Captain Schlosser watches through his periscope as Olympic sails away, untouched, triumphant. He notes the failed attack in the log. It is assumed the torpedoes didn't reach. Distance was greater than expected. Olympic survives the war. She returns to passenger service in 1920, continues sailing for another 17 years, finally retired in 1935, scrapped in 1937. She never sank, never surrendered, fought back when attacked. The only passenger ship in history to sink an enemy submarine during wartime. Of her 3 sisters, Titanic, Britannic, Olympic, only she survived. Titanic struck an iceberg. Britannic struck a mine. Olympic? She rammed a German U-boat and kept going. Remember HMT Olympic, the passenger liner that went to war and came home.